the Juice Report.
Look, man, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. This show is as real as it gets. Yeah. You know it is. It's your boy Jonathan, the Juice Man Presley. Fine solo today. Shout out to my man Rosie. Get back soon. But you know, it's alright because it's football season, baby. Got plenty to talk about. And if you like me, in your mid-30s, you got a child that's about to go to high school, he playing 9th grade football, you got it even earlier. That's right. So that means I get it on Thursday, right? I get it on twice Thursday, right? Because you get the freshman football Thursday. And I come home, get to watch Thursday night football. And then you get Friday night lights. Then you get Saturday college football. Then Sunday, you get the NFL. You get it again on Monday. That means you got 2 days without football. 2 days. Man, God is good. You know what it is. It's your boy Jonathan, Juice Man Presley, and we got a full show for you today. I'm flying solo, so bear with me. I got you covered. But as I always like to go into a little bit of reality, right? Because this is a culture and sports show. So let me start like this, right? I'm going to go, everybody got Facebook. Maybe you don't. And maybe you're a little bit younger and you don't got Facebook. But, if you're my age, you got Facebook, right? You ever notice how many Facebook friends you have that might not even be your friend? Like, just think about it. I want you to take a minute to think about that. Like, how many Facebook friends you have that you don't even really know in real life? It's kind of crazy, right? Right? You got childhood friends, you got middle school, you got high school, you got people you meet as you grow and develop through life, all these people, and then you got their friends, friends of friends, and friends of friends, and friends of friends, right? Putting all these people into your life. I'm saying this because I had to go through like a little cleansing, so to speak, right? I had to delete a whole bunch of like quote unquote friends, right? Because I just started I don't know what happened, but I had a realization that, I allow a lot of people into my life that probably did not need to be in my life. So you might want to take a look at that, right? Because that's an issue. And if you keep on making new Facebook accounts because you can't get your life together and I got to get like 10 different requests from you, I'm not going to get it no more. As a matter of fact, you got 3 times to recreate an account and then send me a request. After the 4th time, bro, I'm not. Get your shit together. Get yourself together. I'm just saying, man. And it's an odd way to slide right into what I'm about to say. But you got to get it together. Same way college football needs to get their act together, right? So we're going to start off with college football. Let me start like this.
Your column, Dan.
Dan Patrick Show,
the way
baby.
I would sum it up is that right now there are so many different dynamics that are going into how these conference commissioners of the big conferences are looking at the NCAA, how they're looking at reform and the way to address a lot of these issues like name, image, and likeness and all the lawsuits and Supreme Court cases. And, it certainly seems like the next iteration of this is going to be the big conferences driven by the SEC and the Big Ten because they make the most money, kind of having a subdivision all on their own within
pay attention.
One to be able to, at least in their mind, deal with all of these things without the red tape and without the smaller schools kind of slowing down the gears of NCAA rulemaking. Whether or not that's the ultimate answer to any of their problems is, I have no idea. I think there's just so many differences even between the big schools on some of these issues. It's not an easy fix, but it certainly seems like whatever they do is going to further squeeze out the little guy.
And it feels like it's inevitable, not if, but when.
This is the part we're going to talk about.
Look at this. Could you foresee maybe the Big 12 grabs Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado, tries to piece something together there? Big Ten might reach out to North Carolina and North Carolina State and Syracuse. If they get Notre Dame, the SEC might have Florida State and Clemson and Miami. feels like we got three kind of superpowers here, and is that college football?
Yeah, I really think the best thing would be if everybody could kind of just like get in a room.
Okay, so we're gonna stop right there, all right? Because that's all you need to hear. The point of this, because Kurt Herbstreit said this before too, that eventually there's gonna be a Power 3, right? You know, we went from the Power 5, and obviously you guys know how Texas and all these UCLA and USC and all these teams then went to different conferences, right? Like they went to the Big Ten in Texas, and Oklahoma are coming over to SEC, and you know, so I was doing some thinking, you know, because they're right, you know. The clip goes on and continues about how it's gonna be strange because we keep thinking about the big sports like football and basketball, right? We don't think too much about the volleyball. We don't think too much about the soccer. We don't think too much about even the baseball. All this is going to take effect because of the change in dynamics of these schools. So, it's inevitable, right? You're going to have three power universities. I mean, power conferences, right? It's inevitable. You got SEC, you got the Big Ten, which is probably going to change the name because ain't no more, not 10 no more, right? But anyway, so you got them two conferences that are pretty much solid, set. And he was talking about the Big 12 is going to go and snatch and so forth. I was thinking more like the ACC, but I guess the ACC is going to dispatch unless Notre Dame just tries to go over there. But let's say it's the SEC, the Big 12, right? Because, you know, they got all them oil people over there, you know, the big pockets, right? So you got that Big 12, and they make their self a conference. You got the SEC, right? So my thing is this. I think it's great. I think when you do that, you also might as well go ahead and open up the damn playoffs, right? Here's my suggestion. I want to put this out there, all right? It's part of the Juice Report, you know what I mean? I'm not saying, I'm just saying, all right? 7 teams in the playoffs, right? The first team, number one team in the whole, the number one team overall gets a bye, right? Then one at large, non-power 3. So you got all these smaller schools, you know, if they don't make it into these conferences, they get it at bid. So now you have 7 teams. Number one team obviously gets the bye, right? Then you have 6 other teams. Then you can have like the the conference winner. And then you can have the runner-up in the conference winner. You know what I mean? Because there's always going to be, or you'll be able to balance it out. I think it'd be perfect. 7 teams, make it solid. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I like that. What y'all think? You like that? I ain't got nobody to bounce it off of, so we're going to go with yes. It's part of the perks of running a show by yourself, right? All right, so check this out. Staying with the college, transferring into the NFL. John Mechie, Alabama wide receiver. Y'all remember he messed up his knee in the college playoff game. Yeah, he's going to miss the whole season recovering from leukemia. Now, this might be old news, but I didn't have a chance to share that on my show yet. And being a Bama guy, I have to make sure I share that. He was signed to the Texans, going to miss the whole year battling with leukemia. They're saying that he should have a full recovery. He's also recovering from a torn ACL. Last year as a junior, he had 1,142 yards, 8 touchdowns as a junior. I think he would have been solid in Houston. Houston wide receiver gave him a shout out by doing the Mechie signature, which is the Karate Kid little dance thing right there, right? But I'm gonna use that to translate right into NFL with some of the biggest things that happened in the preseason. It just started on Friday, right? So let's start from Friday and we're gonna go over the weekend.
For the Jets, though, they essentially look like they could be losing their quarterback, if not for a little bit, for potentially a while. How is this a tone setter for that organization?
Well, and just how devastating it is. There's so much excitement about Zach Wilson, the work he put in the offseason with some of his new teammates. And look, the fact that they've already dealt with now the Mekhi Becton injury, the offensive lineman, and then the uncertainty of this, and obviously, we can't speculate on what it would be. Typically, non-contact injuries don't turn out great. And so, with that, it's devastating because, when an injury happens, matters. Here's a second-year player and this is the very first preseason game. So, depending on, what the diagnosis is, could end up being a lost year, or, you could be in a situation where, hey, there's some optimism because we're going to get him back.
So he said, depending on the diagnosis. So obviously this happened on Friday, right? And then the reports came out the next day, yesterday on the 13th, that Zach Wilson has a bone bruise and a meniscus tear and expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks, which is, to me, is obviously, to Jets fans, it's a fantastic news, right? So you're probably going to miss maybe the first 2 games of the season. And this is important for the Jets in particular because granted, they were only projected to win 5 games this year, right? The idea is you want to see what your quarterback is, though. You can't see what he is if he's hurt, right? And when you have the draft coming, floated with talent in quarterback position, headed by Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, maybe Caleb Williams, you have to know what you have. There's so many. You got Van Dyke coming out. You got so many quarterbacks coming out projected in the first round that you got to see what you got if you are a New York Jets. So it's important to see what Zach Wilson got. So that's probably one of the really good news. Let's move on to quarterbacks. Let's keep it going.
Matt, your overall thoughts on Jordan Love's performance out there.
I thought there was a lot of good out there. I thought all 3 interceptions were pretty unfortunate. The one down in the red zone, definitely a drop ball on that play, and same with Dobbs. I mean, the way, and I know that was going to be a circus catch by Romeo, and it was just unfortunate that the ball landed like that. So you take those 2 out of it, and then the last one on the third down, we had 2 busted routes on that play. So, it is what it is. Certainly, I know he's going to want a couple of the throws back and certainly some of the reads, but it's never perfect for a quarterback. But I thought, by and large, just watching the things like, how the operation was, it was a smooth operation. I thought he got us in and out of the huddle extremely crisp and with urgency. I thought he made some off-schedule plays. He showed some
Playing in his first game since the 2020 NFL season, Deshaun Watson's Browns debut was largely uneventful on the field. 3 quick series, 1 completed pass. The relevant development was once again what happened off the field. As he awaits the NFL's ruling on its appeal, which the league has stated should be an indefinite suspension of at least a year, Watson apologized Friday to, quote, all of the women that I have impacted in this situation. It was a change of tone from previous media appearances when Watson has instead said that he has, quote, no regrets. Whether Watson's remorse has any impact on the NFL's ruling remains to be seen. But it comes the same week when Roger Goodell called Watson's past behavior egregious and predatory. And so, now we wait for an NFL ruling, and the Browns wait to see how they'll proceed at the quarterback position. For now, under the current 6-game suspension, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski could choose to get Watson more reps in the second preseason game. They could let Watson continue to work off that rust. But should the NFL decide to suspend Watson for the year, that would change everything and perhaps cause the Browns to consider going outside the box, maybe even for a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. But they'll wait for the NFL to first make their ruling, as we all wait to see whether this will be a 1-year suspension or perhaps something different from the league office.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just.
As one of the hottest teams in the NFL, going 8-1 after October. But even after nearly becoming the first team in league history to make the playoffs after starting 1-7, it wasn't enough to save Brian Flores' job, which took many by surprise. And the Dolphins would replace him with Mike McDaniel, who spent the past 9 seasons working alongside Kyle Shanahan and is now getting his first crack at being a head coach.
I really appreciate the opportunity, and the responsibility really is a big one.
McDaniel's number one priority starts with getting the most out of his young quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who has played well in spurts but has struggled with inconsistency in his first 2 years in the league. But this season, Tua will have far fewer excuses, with the Dolphins' front office upgrading the help around him. In free agency, they inked left tackle Teron Armstead to a rich contract. But arguably the most shocking deal of the offseason was the Dolphins swinging for a trade for wideout Tyreek Hill, one of the most electrifying players in the NFL.
I got to be that guy who's willing to come out on the field and work hard and show these young guys how to get the job done and potentially win a Super Bowl.
The Cheetah and Jalen Waddle, who had an impressive rookie season, should figure to form one of the most lethal wide receiving duos in the league. And while they'll certainly strike fear in opposing defenses, the spotlight on Tua continues to grow, with some questioning his ability to get them the ball, a notion that Tagovailoa has heard just about enough of.
Keyboard warriors, whatever you want to call them, they're not out here practicing with us working hard.
Is this the year Tua takes the major leap and leads the Dolphins to the playoffs for the first time since 2016? If not, they could look to replace him with the seemingly loaded quarterback class of 23, and that draft, the pressure to win now, is heating up in Miami. As one of the hottest teams in the NFL, going 8.
I apologize if my mic went out, in and out. I hope you guys still with me. But let me get back to it. So we're talking about Tua. Now, Tua finally got the help. You know, he had the line ranked worse in the whole league. The worst line in the whole league. We all know that without an O-line, you cannot play this game. Everything happens inside the trenches. Look at Tom Brady without a line. Look at Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl without a line. I mean, we've seen this over and over and over. Look at Dak Prescott without a line. All right? The only person I've seen be successful without a line is Joe Too Cool Burrow, right? What can you say? I mean, it is what it is. But once again, not everybody in this world is going to be successful. I mean, Deshaun Watson, I guess, was some success. Personally, not as a team, though, right? So, they fixed the line. They upgraded a little bit. You know, it's not the best line in the league, but it's better than where it was, okay? Then you get them some weapons. You cannot be a quarterback in this league without weapons. And obviously, they go and get the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, the fastest man alive on the football field. I'm going to say alive, but on the football field. The cheetah. You pair him with little cheetah and Waddle, Jalen Waddle. Then you go and get Cedric Wilson as your slot. Team up with Gesicki, the tight end. Not to make it even better, they go and get 3 running backs. Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, and Rashard Mozart. Speed. So the question is, because I know we see everybody by now. You done seen the highlights, all the practice highlights and so forth. And I'm a Bama fan, so I know Tua can get them the ball. And everybody's like, oh, it's Bama. The wide receivers are wide open. Just give them the ball. That's the point. You don't even need to get it. Like, we seen them catching Tyreek. We seen them catching Waddle and Wilson, all of them in stride, right? Deep passes. We seen that. We seen the highlight reels, right? You know, practice drills. But Tyreek Hill is actually better in the short game. Jalen Waddle is actually better in the short game. You get them the ball and let them, they too damn fast, they're going to make people miss. You can't double everybody. So I think Tua is set up for success. I mean, he has to be. Like they just said, they still got they got penalized for the tampering thing with Ross and Tom Brady. So they lost 1 pick in the first round, but they still have another one. And they lose a 3rd pick next year. Still enough assets to move up and get a quarterback if Tua's not the guy. But you know what? To figure out if he is the guy, let's go over the schedule real quick. All right, so they open at home with the Patriots. I think they take that. I've seen the Patriots. They don't look very good. All right, so Patriots, so they want to know. Then they go to Baltimore. They beat Baltimore last year, and Lamar did not look very well. So I think Baltimore takes that. Boom, 1-1. This year, Bills has been running through Miami since Josh Allen got there. Running through him. Call him, that's his daddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of where they at right now. Josh Allen is that dude, so what can I say? That's the reality. But this year, I think they split. I just think they split for the mere fact that they got better and so forth. So this one's in Miami, so I'm going to give this one to Miami. All right, start like this. So you start 1-2. I mean, 2-1. 2-1. Win at home versus the Patriots. Lost at Baltimore. Win versus the Bills. Then you go on the road to the Bengals. That's going to be a shootout. And I think, because I like people sleeping on Miami's defense. Miami's defense has some ball hawks over there. And they got a semi-shutdown corner in Byron Jones opposite of Xavier Howard. And they still got the safety help. So I think this one is actually upset. I think I'm going to say Miami wins this one. This one can go either way, though. So just for hypothetical, let's say they lose, all right? So now they're 2-2, all right? So they lose at Baltimore, at Bengals. They get at the Jets. They win that one. So now you're 3-2. Then you get the Vikings. I like the Vikings this year, but they get the Vikings in Miami, and I like Miami. I think their defense shows up for that one. Then they get the Steelers in Miami. I'm not sure about the Steelers. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but that could be hit and miss. So let's just say it missed. Let's say they lose this one, all right? So now you're at, 4-3. Yep, 4-3. Then you get at the Lions, 5-3, at the Bears, 6-3, Browns at home, and this would be what? So this is week 9. So probably gonna be without Watson, seeing how things are going. So I'm gonna give them that because that's at Miami. So now you're what? 6-3. You get the Texans, 7-3. Then you get at 49ers, revenge game. Let's say they lose to the Browns, right? I think they're gonna go to my go-to 49ers to win, just for McDaniel's purpose, right? And Mozart purpose, right? I feel like they're gonna be ready for it. That's just how I feel. So now you're looking at worst case scenario, looking at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. By week 12, you're probably looking at 8-4 record. Maybe 7-5, worst case scenario. Let's say 8-4. Let's say 8-4, because I believe your loss is going to be at at Baltimore, at Bengals, split with either the Vikings or the Steelers. That's 1, 2, 3, and then your fourth one would be the Browns. That's 4. So 8-4. Let's say 49ers at 49ers. You get at Chargers. That might be tough. At Bills, so you might lose back-to-back right there. Then you get Green Bay. Ooh. At home, though. We'll see. So let's say you lose 3 in a row. Boom. Get the pressure on. Then you go to New England. At New England. Like I said, I don't think New England is going to be that good. Then you're going to get the Jets, right? So you get at New England and then home versus Jets. I think they slide in the wild card spot, baby. Saving Tua's job and McDaniel's first year as a head coach. Now it's time to move on to how about them Cowboys?
Russell Wilson wore his Broncos uniform for the first time and led his new team through the tunnel and onto the field. That, unsurprisingly, was the extent of his involvement as he stood on the sideline wearing a headset to listen to Nathaniel Hackett call plays for the first time in his career. But the story of the game, as it so often is, was the Cowboys. Specifically, Mike McCarthy's team playing flag football again. The Cowboys' 2021 season ended with a playoff loss to the 49ers, a game in which the NFL's most penalized team was assessed 14 penalties. The total on Saturday night here in Denver, 17.
17, oh Lord.
Last season,
17
for any NFL team so far this preseason. The penalties were an issue across the board. Infractions committed by offensive and defensive players, rookies and veterans. Dante Fowler's personal foul was not coincidentally his final play. The coaches removed him from the game as punishment. First-round pick Tyler Smith, who had penalty issues in college, was twice penalized for holding. Smith is projected to start at left guard as he did against the Broncos, replacing Connor Williams, who was, of course, the most penalized player in the entire league in 2021. McCarthy's been criticized for his team's undisciplined play. He's vowed to prioritize avoiding penalties. He's emphasized a physical playing style, but one that doesn't cross the line so often. Improvement, not yet evident. In Denver, I'm Ed Werder, ESPN.
Oh, man. That's a lot to wrap your head around. Like, oh, my God. I don't even know where to go. As a Cowboys fan, like, this is the worst offseason I ever seen. So, let me start like this. Tyler Smith. So, Smith only gave up 3 sacks his whole college career. This is the reason that Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones and Will McClain and our whole drafting room decided that this guy is a perfect fit. Yes, we need line help. He could be a steal. I mean, I think the holding, I think the penalties, that's a coaching thing, right? 17 penalties in our first preseason game. 2 by the Rook. I mean, I get it. The game's fast, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to replace the guy that led the league in penalties last season. Man. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, today, about the Cowboys, because I believe our problem is Jerry likes to keep everything in home, right? He likes to re-sign his own draft picks, right? He likes to trust on the development and so forth of the Cowboys philosophy world, whatever you want to say. I feel like we never go out and get free agency. No, don't go get no free agent to fix the problem, right? Because we never have money. And now that we have money, there's no one left to go and get because it's going to be a reach. So here's the issue, right? When you come out of cap hell with dealing with the Romo days, right? And then you decide to go ahead and, we paid Zeke, we paid D-Law, we paid Jalen, we paid all these people, we paid Dak, right? And we go and we try to pay Amari, barely pay Amari because we caught him the year that we were supposed to give him 20. We got away with giving him 15. He was like, oh, he's too expensive, so let's drop him when he's worth 20. So that's another story. Okay? But we go ahead and re-sign Gallup, even though he's got a broken leg. It's all good. I get it. It makes sense. Wide receiver is the easiest spot to replace. I mean, we replace him with CeeDee Lamb, right? CeeDee Lamb. I mean, CeeDee Lamb looks like solid, bro. CeeDee Lamb is young. Looks like the truth. So I'm not going to knock it. I understand. God, but we didn't do that with Zeke, right? Because we drafted Zeke. See, you follow me? You see the difference, right? We didn't cut Gallup because we drafted Gallup, right? What we do to Schultz? Oh yeah, that's right. We tagged him. You know what I'm saying? That's how we rock. So, and we tried our best to keep Gregory, but we let him go because we tried to mess up the contract, right? So when you do this and you pay all these people, and then free agency hit, you cannot get in no bidding war because we have no money. This is my issue. Man. I don't even know where to go. I mean, it's just crazy to me that we can never get a kicker. We can never fix the obvious issues at all, and it hurts. I think the Cowboys, at best, is a wild card team this year. I don't think we're going to win the division, and it hurts me to say that. I say hurts because Jalen Hurts is going to be the reason that we don't win. I'm not going to say he's going to be the reason that we don't win, but the damn Eagles, he's the quarterback there, so that's going to be a reason that we don't win the division. Yeah, I said it. Come on my mouth, and it tastes like... Yeah, man, that's how I feel. But let me go ahead and run down the rest of the preseason real quick so we can go ahead and close this out, all right? So Mahomes went 6 for 7, 60 yards and a touchdown versus the Bears. Nothing impressive. Bears who have who on defense? People are like, oh my gosh, you're not going to miss Tyreek Hill. But yeah, okay, this is called preseason for a reason. Preseason for a reason. Nobody played on Bears defense, let alone it's the Bears. This ain't the 85 Bears. This ain't the damn Bears. It's Roquan Smith. He's still sitting out. just saying. So yes, that's impressive. I'm not gonna take that from you. Patrick Mahomes, 6 for 7, 1 touchdown versus the Bears, killed it. Justin Fields, to me, I thought looked pretty good for a guy that doesn't have anybody. 4 for 7, 48 yards. Not crazy numbers. He did have a 10-yard scramble and did connect with Mooney, who's very, very, very good wide receiver. Pay attention to him. If you're looking for fantasy players, Mooney's going to be a steal. So, a nice connection down the line. Then you had the battle in Carolina, right? With Baker, Sam Dalton, going back and forth. Baker went 4 for 7, 45 yards, 0 touchdowns. Sam Dalton went 2 for 3, 16 yards and 1 touchdown. Then you also had Walker, the kid from the other league. They had him in there, and they also had Matt Corral, who went 1 for 9 terribly, did not look very good. So that's the Carolina, what they got going on. Very lot of trouble. But the one game I really was impressed by was the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Seattle. So Drew Lock played the whole game and still looked like Drew Lock. But the story is the battle between Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, right? So Mitchell Trubisky looked pretty damn good. 4 for 7, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown. One to that Georgia boy, Pickens. You should have seen the touchdown caught in the corner end zone. Like, oh my God, that boy, he's going to be nice. And then you have the hopeless in Seattle. They didn't do that's right. Hopeless in Seattle. They didn't do very well. But Kenny Pickett, they ended up taking the lead. Kenny Pickett, 13 for 15 with a game-winning touchdown and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns on the day, but a game-winning touchdown. So the question for them isn't, same thing with Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill. Malik Willis looked amazing as well. Same thing with Ryan Tannehill, and same question for Mitchell Trubisky. It's not, are they going to get replaced? It's when. I'm just saying, man, these young quarterbacks are coming. So these quarterbacks that are in here that are on the bubble, you better show up because they will come and knock you out. And if you don't make it to the...
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
If you can't do that, then you're probably out. That's all I got for you today. Remember, peace and love. Come back soon. I'm back, baby. Peace and love. We out.